nerds, welcome to Geekbeast, part of the Geekish Network. This is your daily rundown of geek news from geeks like you. I am your host, Summer Punch, and with me, we've got Chuck.
What's up, everyone?
And Syntell, our hype man.
Oh, y'all already know what's up, though, right?
Oh, that's the
Y'all know,
quietest
right?
hype.
He's doing ASMR right now.
It's all about
ASMR hype.
Geekbeast. Yeah.
You doing ASMR voice? Is that what you're doing now?
Hey, man, you know I got to change it up. Let's go.
It worked. I liked it. Okay. You gotta change it up every once in a while. All right, guys, we have some funky news today. Let's get into it. Barack Obama is kicking us off today with reveals that he has once asked for info on UFOs, because UFOs are kind of a hot topic right now in the news. If you haven't been reading, like the Atlantic and the New York Times are coming out with all this shit about how UFOs are like kind of a legit thing to look into lately. So in an appearance on the Late Show with James Corden, Obama says that Obama says that he asked whether the US government actually has alien specimens. He said that he asked that whether they actually have specimens, and the answer was no. The truth is, this is his quote, is that when I came into office, I asked, is there a lab somewhere where we're keeping alien specimens in stasis? I like this. This is like true Obama fashion, where he's like asking like a probably knowingly outlandish question. He's like, are they in stasis? like probably trying to make it sound like on the level. And he says that his team did a little bit of research and the answer was no. So if there is, even he doesn't know about it, but that's what Obama says. I don't know. You guys believe him? Do you think?
Hell no.
No. They're not on stasis. They've been chopped up.
Oh no.
They're like,
yes, feeding us alien blood and like, cow's milk or something. Like, yes, I don't
know. They're not on stasis because we killed them.
Oh, yeah, you might be right. Okay, so he does add, however, he acknowledges that there have been some strange events that cannot be easily explained. Quote, but what is true, this is Obama, and I'm actually being serious here. This is my best Obama voice. There is footage and records of the objects in skies that we don't know, what they actually are. And he continues to say that we can't explain how they move, their trajectory, that they do not have an easily explainable pattern. So I think that people will take seriously trying to investigate and figure out what that is.
Yeah,
that was a great Obama impersonation at the very, very end there.
That's my best.
Yeah, I mean, I think that last part of that statement is just him having an out. So when they do discover the fact that there's a vault of an alien civilization living underneath the White House, he can be like, well, I did say that there was some interesting things happening in the sky.
Yeah. When the government finally comes out with it. I mean, let's be honest, the Pentagon dropped a whole thing of papers right at the beginning of COVID saying that there are extraterrestrial lives and they have record of them.
Yeah, I remember that was big news that was completely glossed over in 2020 because just 2020 was 2020. Yep. Nobody saw it.
COVID came. Everybody was like, I ain't worried about
it. Like, let's throw everything out there since everybody's worried about this pandemic. We're going to find out as years from now that the aliens caused the pandemic.
But, I mean, are we really surprised? It's not like Barack is going to be like, yeah, I'm just going to sit here and give out absolute, complete secret top secret information on.
Yeah, that's exactly what he would say if it was a secret and he wanted to just get us to be just like placate us, like, oh, I asked, but even they told me no. Like,
that's what you say. That's what you say when you have all the secrets.
What you fucking would say.
And then you see his reptilian eyes flicker.
Another way, like,
as he unzips the suit.
I'm actually Lord Zod.
Oh no. Oh gosh. They would make up a reason that we didn't actually have the first black president. He's an alien. Don't try to take us that away from us. Okay, on to some other news. Oculus's latest Quest update lets you record gameplay and yourself at the same time. Now, this is pretty cool because this has some pretty cool, like, user-generated content implications where people can actually, like, show their engagement in the game itself, because we all know, or I guess anybody that has tried out VR knows that it is just an insane, crazy experience, but it is not easily captured by a video that you're not in VR looking at, right? Like you're just looking at what the VR people, but you're completely losing that disconnected feeling in the middle where you are the one and you see your experience in it. So I feel like this new update could potentially really capture that. What do you think, Chuck?
Yeah, I think it could probably capture it. What's going to be really interesting is how this plays into Twitch, so people can look at themselves looking like assholes or weirdos by moving around. They think they're super spies. Then they have the coordination of a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
As they're doing VR.
That sounds hilarious.
This is gonna be so. This sounds amazing. This is a great update. This is a very, very smart update too. That you can capture yourself via your phone or anything else as you're, and it actually does picture in picture. So that's pretty dope.
Anything that makes the experience more enjoyable? Let's go. All right.
Yep.
Have you seen any any footage of what this will look like, Chuck?
I haven't seen any footage yet. I have to download the update. I have to update my Quest and check it out because I haven't updated Quest, so I can actually check it out.
Yeah, because I'm curious, like, how are they doing this? The article goes on to explain the most exciting one about this update is a new live overlay casting feature that will give you an easy way to capture a view of you using VR superimposed over the content displayed in first person view within your own headset. So to me, that sounds like almost like a Twitch view where people are like streaming their gameplay and they have that little box in the corner that shows their face. I feel like that's kind of what it's describing, which doesn't sound quite as like connective and immersive as like, you know, when you see those like invisible hands that are kind of like waving over the gameplay.
It shows
footage.
the gameplay itself, and it shows you like on Twitch. It shows the gameplay, and you're in the gameplay as a like a model character. So as you're running with the gun, it shows the gun on the character's arm, but your arms are up and mixed in with it. It's probably looking weird. It's probably like weird looking, but it probably streams really cool.
I hope it looks weird because this honestly sounds hilarious. This sounds like a great time.
So people can be like,
just watch other people like fools
running,
themselves.
shooting. They're gonna be like that, and they're gonna see the character shooting over their shoulder. So the gameplay's around you, but you're holding up the gun. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it might require like a second device. To Funk, our all-knowing wiki himself, says that the blog says it requires an iPhone S or XS or newer, so it probably using the depth sensing to mask you out. Okay.
Yeah, the phone actually holds up. You have to prop the phone up. But yeah,
critical breakdown. Good job.
It's basically like your camera. It's basically like your computer camera or a plugged-in camera, and you holding it, and they just mask it together. So it's gonna be really interesting.
The future is now, guys. The future. It's right now.
It is right now. Right now, we're living the future. The metaverse. The metaverse.
But that doesn't mean we have old school problems still that we have to deal with. So Kevin Feige regrets whitewashing the Ancient One in Doctor Strange. Classic problem of whitewashing Asian characters in movies, saying that it was a wake-up call. It was probably only a wake-up call after he got just completely like beaten down into the dirt for doing what he did. But you know, I'm glad to hear that he's learned, right? So he's now stated that he regrets the decision, saying this is his quote, "We thought we were being so smart, so cutting edge by casting a older white woman for an ancient Chinese man. Super cutting edge, so smart. Wow, who would have thought to cast a white woman or a white person in an Asian role? So cutting edge."
All of Hollywood. All of Hollywood.
He goes on to say, we're not going to do the cliche of the wizened old Asian man. God, this gets worse. But it was a wake-up call to say, well, wait a minute. Is there another way to figure it out? Is there any other way to both not fall into a cliche and cast an Asian character? And so the answer of that, of course, is yes. So, wow. So he's basically saying right here that we don't want to be cliche and cast somebody Asian for an Asian role. Like, I don't know what is cliche about that. Like,
so we'll just eliminate Asian people altogether.
Is, you know, it's cliche casting white people for white roles. Let's just put Black people, Arab people, Asian people, whatever other type of people, because that's so cliche to cast white people for white roles. Sarcasm. Okay.
Yeah. No, that's some truth. I wouldn't call that sarcasm. I think that's what.
Yeah.
What's cliche is casting white people for just rows of people. Period. Just rows of people. Period. Like, let's do that.
I feel like this guy is just
so
showing his like. I don't know what the word is, but like I guess ignorance is the best way that I can frame it, because that is such a like a white centric thing to do, is to just think of everything as the standard being white, and that when everything is white, all of a sudden there's no like cliches in that area. But when something is not white, that it's like, oh, that's overplayed. Let's just bring everything back to whiteness. Like, come on. Like, why is that a cliche to have a minority? It's not a cliche. Your standard is just whiteness, and you're exposing yourself in your apology, which is just like, don't. Somebody help him with this thing.
Hey, I once refused the panel because the person that put the panel together says, we thought about having you on the panel initially, but we realized it'd be better if we had a woman. And they picked a white woman to be on the panel. Then she was like, there's no people of color on the panel? They're like, we have you as the minority. That's what they said to her. And she had to say something. She had to say something. And when she said something, they're like, oh, we were going to ask Charles initially, but we figured we have you instead.
God.
Because we're all white men. So we have a woman. And so it'd be 5 men and a woman, and between you and the black guy, you're a white woman, we'd rather have you on it.
Well, see, what gets me is like there's another part too to this where he said it's in the quote, I'm reading the show notes. He said we talked about Asian actors who could do it, but when I envisioned that character being played by an Asian actress, it was a straight up dragging lady. So from my understanding that I guess having what is it? Is it angry, assaulting Asian women? Is that considered what a dragon woman is supposed to be?
So he put a woman there.
Yeah, to me.
Oh, I can't unpack this. This is
there's so many things there. Let me jump in with some comments there. Because to me, it sounds like he cannot see or envision an Asian woman being cast without being a stereotype. So that means he can't see any depth to Asian characters.
That's what I was trying to get to. I was like, so
she's an angry white woman. That's normal.
Anybody else,
but she's an angry Asian woman.
Exactly. Yes.
I'm lying,
yes,
bro. You
yes,
should have
yes.
just shut
Therefore,
up.
he is exposed even more his lack of nuance in just seeing humanity in people of color.
I can only see her as a dragon lady.
I can't believe this guy came out with a statement in an interview without having just literally any not white person check this. Be like, you're running into a lot of issues here.
His PR person
fired.
You're digging yourself
PR
deeper
people need to be
into
fired.
Stupid fucking racist.
He needs to go to inclusivity training. That's just all it is.
Yeah, or just like literally just meet a black person, meet somebody that's not white. Like, oh my god,
like, I can't imagine casting a tough black person for this role, black guy. That means he's a savage criminal.
Yeah, then he's a
that's pretty much what he's saying.
That's
like,
basically
I
what
can't
he's
see
saying.
Outside of the dragon lady persona. I can't see anything past that. I'm like,
I can't.
You're a director. You're supposed to be a visionary. You're supposed to be able to see.
Thank you. There's so much to unpack here. I need to do a whole podcast just on this. Unpacking BIPOC issues. Because it's interesting. They think white is the default. No, being a person of color is the default around the world.
Yes. And I feel like this is such a good
different.
And this is such a good example of like, I think this is a level beyond microaggressions, or when you try to talk to people about race and why this stuff matters at work. Well, this stuff matters because like the default assumption is clearly white here, and he's exposing that in his apparent apology. I don't even know, which he didn't even really say he's sorry. He didn't say sorry. Just want to put that out. I don't see anywhere in these quotes a sorry. But
or
like
really
he's just showing his
up.
Default whiteness, and then how that is a gatekeeping mechanism to keep other people out, even when they should be included when they're actual Asian characters of stories that are being made about Asian people. Even then, his default is to cut those people out, so diminishing the opportunities for minorities even more. And Chuck, what you said about like, the panel thing, like that is just another small example of the kind of shit that you have to deal with every day as a minority in like the workplace. And like, let's not forget, this is a workplace. They are creating a film. This is a job for these people. The Asian characters that were not, or the Asian actors that were not cast in that role lost an opportunity because of his default assumption of whiteness. Right. And then what you said is just like, they want to just mix it up, but only a little bit so that, there's one minority, not too many. We can't have too many brown people, too many black people, too many women. You got to keep it level with mostly white men, and then maybe sprinkle in something there thinking that white woman is inclusion, right? I mean, I could go on for days about slight, like fucking stupid little microaggression. I can't tell you how many times I have heard in an interview, "Oh wow, you're very well spoken," right? Or comments on my hair, like it's not even like, but it's like I'll still get comments on my hair all the time at work. This stuff matters, right? It is important that we educate people, and it's not a matter of just being an ally, being gung ho. You don't have to be like. I feel like people see it as like I'm a fitness freak or I don't work out. I'm like really hyper aware of race or I don't care. Like we don't have to make it extreme like this. We just have to educate people that this type of stuff is a product of racism and it has an impact on people's jobs, on people's safety, their livelihood, their happiness. Because I don't want to hear that I'm fucking well spoken. I know that I'm well spoken. You don't have to tell me that.
I didn't realize anybody other than black people got the well spoken line.
You know what?
That used to always crack me up. You're very well spoken. Has anybody actually? You're one of the very first non-black people that I've heard.
No, I hear
say
Asian
that they
people
get
all the
that.
time. All Asian
Yeah,
people.
no,
I hear Asian
okay,
people
so
all the time.
I'll add a little bit.
Your English is good.
I'll make it even worse. People have only said that to me after they saw my LinkedIn picture or a picture of me. So before they see a picture of me, I think they probably assume I'm white and they don't get that. But when I know that they've seen a picture of me because they reached out to me on LinkedIn or recruiting or something like that, and then they see the picture of me, that's the only times it's happened. And it's still happened a lot. And it's a very consistent thing. I've never had it happen like the other way around. So yeah, that and like, comments on my fucking hair, like, yeah, we all get it. It's just that they don't even, they think they're complimenting us.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to be told that I sound smart and intelligent. I knew that. Like, that's why it's insulting when you frame it that way. Like, what did you think? Why would you be surprised that I'm well spoken? Fuck you.
Or your English is really good. Like, why would you tell it to anybody?
Yeah.
Like,
where are you really from though?
Where you
like
really
I get that a lot as an era.
Or
because,
what you mix
people
with.
Don't assume that I'm American. They're like, oh, but where are you really from? I don't know. I was fucking born and fucking raised in Portland.
The whitest city in America.
Yes, born in there. Oh God. Oh my goodness. All right,
Lord,
I'm spinning out on this one too much. You just gotta make it funny though, right? Because otherwise this shit will drive you crazy. So we have to laugh at this guy. He's a fucking idiot. Let's make fun of him. Let's humiliate him as he should be humiliated. Do a better job.
He needs media training, number one, and he needs an inclusivity coach. Because you don't say like, wow, he thought he was saying something woke too. I'm woke. I said this because I'm woke.
It was a wake up call. Clearly not enough. Not enough.
No. Evan Feige, sort it out,
Do better.
Just
we'll
do better.
Roast him here until he figures it out. I hope he sees this, all of this.
Hope he does.
All right,
better.
onto some intergalactic news. Rick and Morty is getting a spin-off series called The Vindicators. The 8 to 10 episode miniseries will star Supernova, Vance, Maximus, Alan Rails, Crocobot. I know that character is Crocobot, and then Noob.
Noob's my character. Noob's my character. I can't wait.
So the big thing that sticks out, if you've seen the series, like everybody's dead, right, for the most part, right?
all but Noob.
Yeah, Noob was the only one. Noob was the only survivor.
Yeah, he's the only survivor. Not Noob.
So for them to do a spinoff,
I wonder how they did that.
Right?
It's Rick and Morty.
Dimensions and portals.
They do everything.
It's like it's the ultimate like story like sandbox, right? Like everything's possible.
We're on our third Morty.
When you have multiple dimensions and realities.
We're like on our third Morty, and we're on our second family.
We're definitely on our second family.
Oh yeah. I remember rewatching the show and kind of catching it the second time around. I was like, oh, these are not the original characters. And I had to like remind myself that I'm not watching. Like we've
they're not watching. No.
That's so funny that they do that, and they're just they're like.
And we're not sure if Rick picked up the right Morty when he went to go pick up the Morty from the. We're still not sure.
Yeah, it's a lot of like weird random stuff going on in that show.
I love this show.
But that's what makes it awesome.
This show's amazing. What it does with science is amazing. I give the all the props for it.
I hope the show's successful because it's 8 to 10 miniseries. So hopefully it'll just, they'll tell this whole full story and it'll be done. And then they can do something else because there's so many characters in this universe. So to me, it sounds like they're dipping into the whole, we're going to build a universe and expand upon it thing that every other property is doing.
You know what
as well.
you know what I think they're gonna do? They're gonna make a parody of expanding the universe with this miniseries of like how everything. He's like, you know what? I'm tired of motherfuckers saying they build a whole universe. Lord of the Rings universe. We have the Game of Thrones universe. I'm tired of this shit. So I'm gonna build my own universe and make fun of people building universes on top of the property that was so successful. This is worse than sequels.
Yeah.
It's
Slash
getting
better
there.
because it's Rick and Morty.
We're
As
not
long
at
as
the
it's the
point of
same-
complete like saturation just yet, but we're getting there. We're getting
It's
there
so
really
good.
quickly.
Like, give me more Rick and Morty. Give me too much Rick and Morty. I'm happy
Only-
with it until I'm not.
The only thing that deserved the whole entire universe was Star Trek because they were the original ones of creating their own universe.
They just didn't stop. It's been decades.
Yeah,
since
they
started.
just made all
Nobody's
kinds of
complaining.
universes. They just created new series. But yeah, the tie all this stuff
Select.
together.
We're in
Yeah,
space.
yeah.
It's gonna work, and we're gonna watch. So there's
Yeah,
that.
hell yeah, we
what-
are.
the
As long as it's
He-Man-
by the same show creators, and I think it is, like,
Yeah.
I'm down to watch
It's
it.
Dan Harmon.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's Dan Harmon. Yeah.
All right,
This
on
is
to some other news. IGN, so this one's a little bit less funny. IGN staff has criticized their management's decision to pull articles supporting Palestinian aid groups. So earlier this week, IGN editorial staff published in an open letter decrying Sunday's removal of an IGN article and its associated tweet that linked to charities supporting Palestinian victims of recent Israeli violence against them. The article and tweet posted on May 15th in response to violent military strikes against the people of Gaza by the Israeli Defense Force were taken down on May 16th without the IGN's editorial staff's permission or involvement. IGN didn't release a public statement about the removal until early the next morning, nearly 12 hours later. And according to the eventual statement, the content was removed because it was, quote, not in line with our intent of trying to show support for all people. Oh, they said all impacted by
all lives
tragic
matter.
events. And by highlighting only one population, the post mistakenly left the impression that we were politically aligned with one side, end quote. Sources tell us that IGN editorial staff was enraged over both the removal of the article showing solidarity with Palestinian people and the subsequent statement from IGN corporate, which I see a lot of problems with too.
That's sad because the aid groups are there to help men, women, and children that are innocent that are caught as casualties in this war between Hamas and Israeli military force.
Yeah. Yes. Important to remind the people that these are charities that are going to civilian victims.
Yes.
And they pulled support for charities and civilian victims of Palestinians. Because I don't really know how that's justifiable.
Yes, it's not justifiable, especially after Netanyahu talked about he's trying to bring Palestine down to its knees so they can be completely submitted to Israeli power.
Right.
That's how you create apartheid states. That's what South Africa, they said almost the same exact language when they crippled South Africa with the Africans there, with the Afrikaners
Trying
came
to
there.
demoralize them, break
Yes.
their will.
Break their
Those
will.
his words, which is so unsettling, so
And
creepy.
That's scary. I mean, that's not far saying what Hitler was saying. It's pretty close.
Well, they're absolutely trying to ethnically cleanse neighborhoods. That has been that has just been an open, like that's their settler strategy. Is they're trying to clear areas of their land of a certain ethnicity to include and prioritize and like make sure that only another ethnicity is there, and that is just the definition right there of ethnic cleansing of a territory.
Yes.
And they do it by targeting. I mean, I don't want to say the fight between Palestinians and Israelis because it's not really a fight. It is like one highly equipped, advanced military fighting people, oppressed people that are throwing rocks and like really low tech missiles at worst. And half of the people that have died have been women and babies.
Women and children. Yes. They're babies. They're children.
And they're taking out the press. They took out the AP building and
Yes.
Al Jazeera. And they're bombing roads that are leading to hospitals to cut off access to healthcare for the injured. That is a war crime. You cannot cannot target civilians and you cannot keep people from getting medical care. That is literally a part of the Geneva Convention itself that is a war crime to violate.
And you're not supposed to take off
access to health.
lively life important things. So you're not supposed to blow up pipelines or poison pipelines for water and for food travel any longer. That's a war crime. That's considered a war crime.
It is literally a war crime.
And you're not supposed to bomb temples and in churches and synagogues and stuff any longer neither. That's considered a war crime too. Because America did a lot of that during Japan in World War II, and eventually that Japan and them pushed for it being a war crime.
Yeah, war crimes left and right, and it's not really like called out, and continues to get support from the U.S. government, like full-throated support, which is just terrible.
Yes.
I think regarding the article, I'm glad that it's exposed, because you need to understand like who you're working for. And during situations like this where it's very tense and you are forced to show who you really are, this is a clear example to the employees of this company. Do you want to work with somebody that's willing to stifle your voice, shut out the truth, and you still collecting a check from them? So it's, to me, the employees have a decision to make. You can either come together and figure out what to do with upper management. You have the choice to leave that position and go for greener pastures. Expose people for what they really are. So they're empowering themselves by putting it out there and be like, listen, we are trying to do this, and the third regarding our solidarity. That's the word I'm looking for. We're trying to do this to confirm our solidarity with the Palestinian movement, and you are going out of your way to silence that voice. So
yeah. Good on them for calling it out after it happened and exposing what was done and being brave enough to do that, because like they are calling out their own bosses, right? And like journalists, like love them or hate them, those people are fucking crazy. They will report what they've got when they got a good story, apparently. And I'm glad that they have exposed that, because that is a hard thing to do when you're in a position where those people that you're calling out are employing you. So good on them for speaking truth to power. Yeah, I definitely get a hat to him. And you said something that's very true regarding like, this is like the wrong one to test, right? If you heard that saying before, you picked the right one now. And because when it comes to like their reporting behavior and skill, like they dig, especially when it comes to games, geek culture, cartoons, comics. IGN is just on it. Like they're like a dog on a bone. So it's like, you're gonna piss these people off regarding some unfair tactics. They're gonna, they know how to find the dirt. They know how to uncover stuff. You literally train them to do it. Don't let them use it against you.
It's like you pissed off your own watchdogs. So
right. And
good for the watchdogs.
It makes it more interesting. Like Google yesterday, the Google employees article we talked about yesterday, that they show support for Palestinians. And they said to protect anti-Zionist speech, and it was the Jewish ERG of Google that said that. Like, look, it was a group of Jewish Google employees are calling the company out to support Palestinians because they realize this is a war crime going on. Like even me as being a Jewish person with my Arab brothers and sisters, killing women, children, and men that are not involved in this war is a war crime, and we have to support that. They had to step away from the ERG group. They talked about they were feeling silenced, like we were silenced. Us, that's like, look, this is not what none of us signed up for. This is not what we do.
Yeah.
Good
on them for saying something.
Yeah. I just wanted a quick shout out to the Funk. He said it's also, unfortunately, the folks at Game Informer who stuck their necks out and similarly got their support article taken down haven't had a public response from their management, GameStop. So it's so we got IGN on one side, and we got Game Informer here, because GameStop does own Game Informer, right? Yeah.
Yep. I think they own Game Informer too. Yep.
So
maybe what IGN did will empower Game Informer journalists to do the same thing. So sometimes all you need is an example.
It is everybody against crimes against humanity. That's how we have to look at this. That's the war. Is crimes against humanity. Those are the villains. No matter what shape, color, or anything they come into, those are the villains. And it's everybody. We have to be against that. Like I had a friend saying, Chuck, do you speak up when racist things happen against white people? I said, I speak up against all racism. I don't give a shit what it is, who it happens to. It's everybody versus racism. And it's really everybody versus crimes against humanity.
We all got skin in the game.
Yeah, we all have skin in this game.
Facts.
The world is small, and we need to act like it is small now. And it's getting smaller and smaller every day.
All right, well, that concludes the news segment of our show today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to Digital Click for all the creative that you provide. And if you guys aren't following us here on Twitch already, I hope that you do so. If you like what we're doing, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe to us using Prime Gaming. It costs you nothing, but it helps us out a ton. All right, up next, we have Bingeworthy. Can we bring in Courtney and Randy for some cross chaos?
Squad.
As I like to call it.
They're coming.
Courtney, Randy, we were just talking about some heavy shit. And you know what makes me feel better? Just dunking on white people doing stupid shit when they're trying to apologize. When they're trying to apologize and therefore digging themselves deeper in a hole. I don't know if you guys heard our story about what's his fucking face? What is his
Kevin
Feige?
Kevin
Feige.
What did he
Like, he was like, okay.
Being an idiot. He's like the president of Marvel, isn't he?
Yes, he is the president.
Yeah.
This is another example of a guy failing up because he just doesn't deserve that. Why didn't somebody PR train him? All right. Anyways, well,
why couldn't he just use common sense? Like, just don't say dumb shit. Like racism is. I don't know. It doesn't seem that complicated.
He
like
thought he was being woke. He thought what I'm saying is being woke.
I'm gonna read this back to sleep. Hilarious, but I have to undo the highlight here. Okay, guys. So Kevin Feige regrets whitewashing the Ancient One in Doctor Strange, saying it was a wake-up call. And then he makes it worse by saying, we thought we were being so smart and so cutting edge by not casting an Asian person for an Asian role. And so then he, to be cutting edge and smart, he casted a white woman for an ancient Asian man role. And then we went on to talk about just people doing stupid shit, saying stupid shit to us at work. This is another great example of just like the white standard of your, just like a perception of the world that everything is white, and when things are not white, you just kind of got to bring it back in line. And that's the shit that we have to deal with every day. And Kevin Feige outed himself as a moron for saying that that it was a wake-up call. You know what I think? It was a wake-up call after he got called out. Not, he didn't come up on that himself.
He got called out when it happened, like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And he was like, the Ancient One can be anything. Ancient doesn't say that it has to be Asian. And I'm like, you doubled down back then. Why don't you just own up to that dumbass double down that you went in on? So why bring the shit back up?
That's what I didn't understand.
And then try to like
backpedal. And he didn't even apologize.
Someone put him back on a leash, like bring him in to have some PR people sit him down. Be like, no.
He needs a wrangler to just like tap him on the leg, and then he knows that means shut the fuck up.
He needs somebody to kick his ass because this is stupid, right? That's not.
I have these little cards. I have these little cards that I got from some novelty store, and it's just a little white card with 2 words on it, and all it says is "stop talking." And I just slide that to people when I want them to shut the fuck up.
That sounds very useful. That sounds very useful.
People take a minute. They shut up because they take a minute reading it.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's just interesting. It's like you thought you were saying something woke, and you just went full left field on it. Like, whoa.
But see, like people who do shit like that, they're surrounded by like racist people. So they're like, if you really met my uncles and my brother and my best friend, then you'd really see some racist shit. I'm the liberal woke one in the crew. Y'all don't know I'm the ally, right?
Oh my god.
That's how
they think they're doing the best they can, but they're not.
Right.
And like, you know what? I have to say this because I didn't even touch on this earlier in the segment, but I have to say the headline reads, Kevin Feige regrets whitewashing the Ancient One in Doctor Strange, saying it was a wake-up call. That is something that journalist chose to highlight. they're not highlighting how moronic what he goes on to say is, how he digs himself deeper into hole. They're portraying the headline as like, I regretted it. It really like, it was a wake up call. That's what they put in the headline, because so that means that journalist who wrote that fucking story in that headline is continuing to support the same kind of white standard perspective that he is thinking he's trying to dismantle, because he's so fucking woke.
Because he's like, you should meet my grandma, how racist she is. I'm really a liberal.
I think that journalist knew what he said was dumb as fuck, and they deliberately put his ass in hot
I'm gonna out them right now. IGN.
They deliberately, they're like, oh, he's gonna get roasted for this. It's gonna give me all kinds of clicks. I'm leading with this.
And we were just talking about IGN, how they dig. We was just talking about. We was just saying.
I hope they did. I hope they did it. Like he just said this. I'm gonna sit there and put this out there to get all these clicks, because people gonna look at this and be like,
I guess I'm interested in the article. Kind of what Courtney said. This controversy had started back when the film was first released. What made him bring it back up? Did the reporter intentionally just ask this question?
You know, they let him in. He didn't come up.
He was being interviewed for Men's Health in a cover story about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So that means he was trying to promote another film.
No, he was
he's dealing with Asian culture again. So I guess he was like,
and that journalist,
hear how I really messed up before?
It's like,
I'm sure
I got this one right. I got this one right.
He needed those cars. Courtney was his PR people should have slid him that car. It was like, stop, shut the fuck up, or something like that. Yeah.
He just, the rest of his quote, it just gets deeper and deeper into shit. Like he just keeps, it just gets worse and worse and worse. Oh God. He later goes on to say that we talked about Asian actors who could do it, but then we envisioned that character being played by an Asian actress who was a straight up dragon lady. Also a lot of problematic issues there, where they cannot see Asian women being sexually objectified or dragon ladies.
I'm like, what is the dragon like? What is that all about? Like, why are you using this type of
actresses? They can play different levels. They don't have to be that. You just threw the baby out with the bathwater. Why you didn't have the courage to tell your actor or actress because he'd be to breathe new life into the role? It's just,
why did he use the term dragon lady?
So I think what he means by dragon lady is that that's like a powerful Asian, like angry sorceress,
angry, aggressive,
right? And that's an angry, aggressive version of an Asian woman that is not like the soft, like subtle, quaint, like cutesy, dainty, sexualized version of Asian women. Because there can only be two, you know that, right? There can only be that. Or you be sexualized, and there's no in between. But also,
so apparently, he never watched his own property with the woman from Daredevil, who was like the head of the Asian lady. Like the Asian one who was battling the Sigourney Weaver character, that broad was badass, and she wasn't a dragon lady. She was just like stealth with it. So you didn't even watch her on property.
He's just making an excuse for his bad, horrible mistake.
He hasn't watched
himself deeper.
Any of the 10,000 Asian films that were produced from 2005 to today, all across Asia, that have martial arts and special powers in them. There's like 10,000 films.
There's no nuance to him.
There's no maybe one thing.
PR person advance, like get all the questions.
Who knows? Maybe his PR person didn't even know. I mean, he's just
or
clearly surrounded by white people who are enabling his decisions.
Is the one who wrote all this, because his PR person is super racist.
And that excuse also, that doesn't hold up, because like the ancient one in Doctor Strange, there's nothing angry about that character. Like, yes, they have a plot twist at the end, but like the whole character is that they're like, you know, they're at peace with themselves and they have like different motives that come up, but they're never angry. Like angry is not what defines or is really any big part of that character. So to say that it just turned into a dragon lady is just to say that like you're putting that anger on your vision of what an Asian woman looks like. It's just stupid. It's like the further you go into it, the stupider it fucking gets.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun to talk on this. I just have to say, like, it really
Summer's so triggered. Let them know what it is, Summer. Let them know what it is. I'm not gonna introduce. When I meet Kevin Feige, I gotta make sure Summer's not with me. she'll probably punch him.
Yo, what's up with that character, Kevin?
To Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige is like, Charles. So you're on a show called Geekbeast, and I'd like to talk to you about your comments about my Asian one article.
talk to you about your
got some
racism, my
thoughts?
racism. Like that's that what you said?
Yeah.
I have to talk to you about my racism.
Just
my
bad.
God.
Just
Chuck, you should
bad.
invite him on the show. Let's interview this guy.
That'd be great.
That would be.
Oh
great.
yeah, I
That would
get
be
that
great.
good,
It would
that
be.
feel good feeling that I get when I talk about Ted Cruz being a piece of shit. You know, it's just like there's something kind of satisfying and exciting about just
Yeah.
fucking dunking on Ted
What
Cruz,
makes
just
it
like
is-
this guy.
It's like, wow,
fun.
Kevin Feige, you just kept
I don't know
going.
what it
You
is.
just kept going. You should just been chill and
card.
cool.
It's
You
just,
need
you
that stop
know,
talking card.
Yeah,
you have to just
yeah.
shut up
You need to
about
stop
like
talking.
race issues all the
Mhm.
time. The moment when you could just be out there and just fucking smash their face into the ground, just smear it. It just feels kind of good. You know? Anyways, I'll stop going on about that. Guys, that is it for Cross Chaos today. Stay tuned during the chat. We are going to pop down for a second. We'll be right back up with Bingeworthy. Don't go anywhere. Wait, before we go, tell us what you guys are talking about.
Dota, Dragon
Dota.
Blood.
They're talking about Dota. They got lots of opinions. Stay tuned. They're going to be spicy and fun and varied. And at the end of the show, you will get a thumbs up, thumbs down from all of them. So stay tuned for that. And we will see you guys tomorrow for Geekbeast.
Peace.
Yeah.